You do not win 7 world championships by being lucky. You win them by knowing exactly who pushed you to your limit. Lewis Hamilton spent 20 years at the front of the grid. He faced legends, prodigies, teammates who wanted his throne, and rivals who made him question everything he believed about himself. But behind the trophies, behind the records, behind the greatness, there were 5 drivers who earned something no championship ever could: his genuine, unfiltered respect. Not because they were friendly, not because they were easy to race, but because they forced Hamilton to become better than he ever planned to be. At 40 years old, Hamilton finally speaks without a filter. 5 drivers, 5 names he never forgot, the men who shaped the greatest Formula One career in history. This is the list he never had to make, but always kept in his heart. Lewis Hamilton was born on January 7, 1985 in Stevenage, England. Racing was not in his blood by birth. It was built by obsession, a working-class family, a father who worked 3 jobs just to keep his son on the karting track. No silver spoon, no shortcuts, just raw speed and an unshakable belief that he belonged at the front. By the time Hamilton reached Formula One in 2007 with McLaren, the sport was not ready for him. He nearly won the championship in his debut season as a rookie. Then came the years that rewrote history: 7 world championships, 103 race victories, more wins than any driver who ever lived. Records that may never be broken. But statistics never tell the full story. Behind every number was a rival who made him earn it. Behind every trophy was a driver who refused to make it easy. These 5 men made Lewis Hamilton who he truly is. Number 5, Kimi Raikkonen. When Kimi Raikkonen walked into a room, he did not need to say a word, and that silence said everything Lewis Hamilton needed to know. Raikkonen was different from every other driver Hamilton ever faced. No mind games, no political maneuvering, no carefully crafted media statements, just pure, brutal, unapologetic speed. When Hamilton arrived in Formula One in 2007, Raikkonen was the reigning world champion. He did not welcome the young British rookie with open arms. He welcomed him with a 2007 championship that he stole on the final lap of the final race. Hamilton had the title in his hands. Raikkonen took it anyway. But here is what Hamilton never forgot. Raikkonen did not win it through dirty tricks or political games. He won it by being faster when it mattered most. No excuses, no drama, just results. Off the track, Raikkonen never pretended to be something he was not. No corporate smiles, no rehearsed answers, no performance for the cameras. That raw authenticity earned Hamilton's respect in a sport full of carefully managed personalities. For Lewis Hamilton, Kimi Raikkonen represented something rare in Formula One. A driver who never needed your approval, a competitor who let his lap times do every single talking, and a rival who taught Hamilton the most important lesson of his career. Greatness does not announce itself. It simply arrives. Number 4, Fernando Alonso. There are rivals who push you on the track. And then there are rivals who push you to the edge of everything you believe about yourself. Fernando Alonso was the second kind. When Hamilton joined McLaren in 2007, Alonso was already a 2-time world champion, confident, calculating, completely convinced that no rookie deserved to share his garage. The tension started before the first race even began. Alonso did not hide his frustration. He did not pretend the situation was comfortable. He made it clear through every debrief, every strategy meeting, every single lap in qualifying. This was his team. Hamilton was a guest who had overstayed his welcome, but Hamilton did not blink. He matched Alonso in qualifying. He matched him in races. He matched him in points. By mid-season, the garage was not just uncomfortable, it was a war zone. At Hungary, Alonso blocked Hamilton in the pit lane deliberately, costing him a qualifying lap. The move was calculated. The message was personal. But what happened next defined everything. Hamilton did not crack. He did not complain to the media. He went faster. That response earned something Alonso never planned to give: genuine respect. Years later, Alonso admitted publicly that Hamilton was the toughest teammate he ever faced. Not the dirtiest, not the most aggressive, the toughest. Off the track, their relationship slowly transformed from Cold War to quiet admiration. 2 champions who had tested each other at the highest possible level. For Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso was never just a rival. He was the first driver who made Hamilton prove he truly belonged. And Hamilton proved it every single week. Number 3. Jenson Button. Most rivals try to beat you with speed. Jenson Button tried to beat you with your own mind, and that made him the most dangerous teammate Lewis Hamilton ever faced. When Button joined McLaren in 2010, nobody gave him a real chance. Hamilton was the star. Hamilton was the future. Hamilton was the reason McLaren existed. Button was supposed to be the experienced supporting act. He had a different plan entirely. Button did not race with aggression. He raced with patience. While Hamilton attacked corners, Button managed tires. While Hamilton chased fastest laps, Button protected positions. While Hamilton raced with emotion, Button raced with calculation. And lap after lap, race after race, that calm intelligence made Hamilton question his own instincts. At Canada in 2011, Button produced one of the greatest drives in Formula One history. When he came from 2 laps down, he passed Hamilton on the final lap, in the rain, under pressure, without a single mistake. Hamilton watched it happen and felt something he rarely felt on a racetrack: genuine disbelief. Off the track, Button was warm, composed, and impossible to dislike. That made the competition even harder to process. For Lewis Hamilton, Jenson Button represented something no other teammate ever delivered. A quiet, consistent, unshakable mirror. A driver who showed Hamilton that raw speed alone was never going to be enough. And a teammate who earned deep respect precisely because he never once asked for it. Number 2. Nico Rosberg. Some rivals race against you. Some rivals race through you. Nico Rosberg did something far more dangerous than both. He knew exactly who Lewis Hamilton was before the world ever did. They were childhood friends, karting rivals at 12 years old, 2 boys chasing the same impossible dream. By the time they shared a Mercedes garage in 2013, that friendship had quietly become something else entirely. A cold, calculated, deeply personal war. Rosberg understood Hamilton's weaknesses because he had studied them for 20 years. He knew how Hamilton thought under pressure. He knew what unsettled him. He knew exactly which buttons to press. And in 2016, he pressed every single one. At Monaco, Rosberg parked his car deliberately to ruin Hamilton's qualifying lap. The move was calculated to perfection. At Spain, their cars collided on lap 1, handing the race to their competitors. Neither man backed down. Neither man apologized. But here is what Hamilton never forgot. Rosberg did not win the 2016 championship through luck. He won it through obsession, through reinvention, through a level of dedication that Hamilton himself admitted was remarkable. The day Rosberg retired, Hamilton finally said what he had never said publicly before, that Rosberg was the rival who pushed him harder than anyone inside a Mercedes cockpit. For Lewis Hamilton, Nico Rosberg was never just a teammate. He was the one man who understood him completely and used every single piece of that knowledge to beat him. Number 1. Max Verstappen. There is only one driver who made Lewis Hamilton feel what he had spent 20 years making others feel: vulnerable. Max Verstappen arrived in Formula One at 17 years old like he owned every corner of every circuit on Earth. No fear, no hesitation, no respect for reputations that others had spent decades building. When Hamilton first raced wheel-to-wheel with Verstappen, he felt something unfamiliar. A driver who would not move, who would not blink, who would not give a single centimeter regardless of the consequence. Their 2021 championship battle was not just a rivalry. It was the most brutal, most emotional, most controversial title fight Formula One had ever witnessed. Silverstone, Monza, Jeddah, Abu Dhabi, 4 collisions, 4 moments that defined an entire era. At Silverstone, Hamilton held his line and Verstappen flew into the barriers at 180 miles per hour. Hamilton took the win. Verstappen took the hospital. Neither man apologized. Neither man backed down. But behind closed doors, Hamilton admitted something he never said publicly: that Verstappen was the first driver in a generation who made him race at 100% every single lap. Not 90%, not cruise control, 100%, every single time. Off the track, their relationship remained cold, distant, and completely honest. No fake smiles, no manufactured respect, just 2 champions who understood exactly what the other was capable of. For Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen was never just a rival. He was the mirror that showed Hamilton exactly who he still needed to be. The one driver who proved that greatness has no finish line. And the one competitor Hamilton respected most precisely because he never once made it easy. Lewis Hamilton's legacy was never built on talent alone. It was built on the rivals who refused to let him breathe. Kimi Raikkonen taught him that greatness never announces itself. Fernando Alonso taught him that belonging must be proven, not assumed. Jenson Button taught him that patience beats aggression every single time. Nico Rosberg taught him that the most dangerous rival is the one who knows you completely. And Max Verstappen taught him that greatness truly has no finish line. 5 drivers, 5 lessons, 5 reasons Lewis Hamilton became the greatest Formula One driver who ever lived. At 40 years old, Hamilton does not look back with bitterness. He looks back with gratitude, because without these 5 men pushing him to his absolute limit, the legend never gets built. Subscribe for more untold racing stories.